Hello everyone, and have we got some banging news for you guys. Yes, Bitcoin has surpassed 30,000 by a decent margin now, heading up to 32K. Obviously on preparations for the ETF, but boom, we've got another big piece of news that could actually indicate that the Bitcoin ETF is coming sooner, much sooner than had anticipated. Let's go over and look at the news, people, because BlackRock is not only talking about the ETF, they're actively seeding their ETF. That's right, they are buying Bitcoin in October, that's right now, to actually seed their ETF. The asset manager said in its latest S1 amendment that to the SEC, it plans to provide initial funding for its BTC ETF this month. People, there are only 10 days to go for this month, probably less than 10, I didn't really count, but like 10 days to go this month. And that means they're going to be buying a decent amount of Bitcoin. BlackRock, now off OTC obviously, they're not going to buy off the exchange market, but that should have a lot of bullish sentiment for the Bitcoin ETF. So the buying pressure is coming in right now. That could actually be why you're seeing Bitcoin going up right now, because when BlackRock buys, they're black and they're rocks, remember, so they buy a lot. They can buy tens of millions, hundreds of millions, maybe even billions of dollars in Bitcoin, and in that amount, it doesn't matter if it's OTC, it doesn't matter if it's like retail or not. It's going to be a large chunk and it's going to affect price. And obviously, it's going to get sentiment way up. So a senior ETF analyst for Bloomberg pointed out on X that intriguing change in BlackRock's spot ETF amendment. The world's largest asset manager is planning to seed the fund this month. They're going to put money in it this month. Now, they're not going to go all out, obviously, because they're just seeding it. But this is a big change. Why would they see it? Because they know for good that the ETF is coming soon, and probably sooner than we all think. So I don't think after this news, people are going to let up at all. Will there be a buy the rumor, sell the news thing for the Bitcoin ETF? Possibly, but it won't be very big sell the news because of the upward pressure from BlackRock and other companies. And if BlackRock is seeding their ETF, you know that Fidelity and other people aren't going to be too far behind because no one wants to be left over in this ETF race. Kathy Woods also said this morning, I saw the interview on Twitter, that that the SEC and Gary Gensler's tone towards the ETF has changed a lot. You know why it's changed a lot? Because they know they're toast if they oppose the Bitcoin ETF. The powers of Bitcoin will tolerate no dissidence, not from Gary Gensler, not from anyone else. Look, so this guy doesn't want to read too much into it. And he says, but he does say that the ETFs are preparing to launch. Now, the preparation time could be quite long on the ETF preparation to launch. It is a big deal, so it could be a couple of months, but the SEC, I think, will accept it in short order. And that will definitely spruce things up. Now, when they accept the ETF and when they actually prepare and are ready for launch, that might take a while. So because of that, like in that chunk of time, we might get a little bit of a retrace, buy the rumor, sell the news. Like people are selling the news and there's actually nothing happening on the ETF side. But once they do launch, people are going to buy in, and then that pressure is going to be there. And the thing is, the sell the rumor thing, I don't think will be that bad because people are going to be preparing for the launch and they don't want to miss the day it launches and all that money comes in because they do not want to miss this. This is the biggest thing for crypto in a very long time. I mean, we've been talking about Bitcoin ETFs since like 2018. It's been like 5-6 years and they're finally going to approve one soon. I mean, Hester Pierce, one of the SEC commissioners, crypto mom, she's talked on like CNBC and Bloomberg, like, I can't really see why we haven't approved one yet. She's always been in favor of approving. So even among the SEC council, there's a lot of dissident on like whether they should actually accept or not. Gensler's trying to hold the line as long as possible for whatever reason. Gensler's trying to hold the line, but it does not seem to be working even within the SEC itself. So basically, like, But Chunas noted that seeding an ETF happens when initial funding is provided typically by a bank or broker-dealer who used to purchase a few creation units in exchange for ETF shares, which can be traded in open market on day one. So some people are wanting to get in early. So you know that BlackRock is buying. So if you're trying to DCA in, you gotta DCA in now because BlackRock is trying to front run you. And if they front run you, they're gonna be taking all the profits and you're gonna be left in the cold. And you don't want BlackRock to drop BlackRocks on you in the future. So you better buy at least DCA in on the Bitcoin off this BlackRock buying, because if BlackRock is buying, you know that good things are probably happening for Bitcoin ETF. They wouldn't go so hard in on this if they weren't very sure about this. So that's good. So there is an RWA that we know that the BlackRock company has actually invested in. Which one is it? It might be a fairly unknown one, but someone actually brought it to my attention in the live stream chat. So it's called Boson Protocol. And it started in 2019. Its foundation is London, United Kingdom. They got $10.3 million in funding. The latest one is 2021, March 11th, Series A. And of course, right now, how do we know it's BlackRock? Well, on Traxin.com, which tracks who's invested in what, Boson Protocol has 26 institutional investors, including Outrock Adventures, BlackRock, and NGC. So Boson Protocol, which is going to be RWA tokenization, they do have BlackRock investment. Now, BlackRock investment funds invest in a lot of companies. So I wouldn't take this to the bank. They probably have a lot of other companies, maybe even more RWA investments. But we know for a fact that Boson is actually in that BlackRock portfolio. So they have some support. The total supply of Boson and max supply of Boson is 200 million. The amount released right now is 108 million. So it's over 50% out. And that could actually be good news because it's not 10% out like some other cryptos. In terms of it is way, way down. So this chart might actually look like it's dead, and it may well be dead looking at it. But that's not to say that it can't actually resurrect again sometime soon. Obviously, there's not that much with Boson, and these small protocols, only $500,000 in trading volume and 18 million market cap. They can blow up. So spreading maybe a couple $100 in this is probably not a bad idea. I wouldn't go that far into it. But if you're looking for an RWA that a big fat cat has invested in, Boson might be the protocol for you because BlackRock, it doesn't get any bigger than that. However, I don't know how much activity they've had in the last 2 years. You know that RWAs are going to be big and NFTs are actually going to be big as well, and Boson is in those particular markets. But of course, right now, it's basically kind of trending downward and it's kind of dying just like other cryptos. I think you would have to follow them for more updates and stuff to make sure that this is the right investment. But if you're interested in something that BlackRock is invested in, there you go with Boson Protocol. Am I going to be buying Boson? No, I will not be buying Boson. I like the investments I have now. BlackRock is going to, the ETF is going to lift everyone, and that's going to be spurred on by BlackRock Fidelity. I think there's more than just BlackRock that is actually seeding their ETF right now, or going to be soon starting to seed their ETF. So you know that some money is going to flow in soon. So that's really, really cool. And Coinbase is trying to perform a finishing move on the SEC. They filed their final pitch in a bid to kill the SEC accusations. They don't really want to fight the case, obviously, because it's going to take time and it could hurt the altcoins, obviously. So they're filing a final amendment to completely dismiss the SEC case. And I think it has a good chance of dismissal because the SEC hasn't been too great on the law. The SEC's argument is saying that we're a government regulator, so whatever we say is law. But the judges are not buying that, folks. They're like, no, you must listen to rules just like everyone else. Congress has not appointed you the power. And the judge in this case has actually indicated that she is skeptical of the SEC's claims. So all these things are very, very good news for us as Bitcoin investors, guys. Extremely good for us as Bitcoin investors. So basically, the company is said to be ready to underline two legal arguments that the tokens being traded don't represent investment contracts and thus securities, and the SEC is violating major questions doctrine. Now, a couple of senators and congressmen, including the ancient enemy of crypto, Elizabeth Warren, they have said that the major questions doctrine does not apply to this, but I don't know if the judge agrees. They have filed an amicus brief in favor of the SEC, but there's been other senators like Cynthia Lummis that have filed amicus briefs against in favor of Coinbase, and of course you have John Deaton and then filing amicus briefs against for Coinbase as well. So there's amicus briefs on either side. I think like pretty much the entire industry wants to shut down Gary Gensler, and I think this is the case to do it. The Ripple case didn't completely shut them down because it didn't grant clarity to all other cryptos. This Coinbase case would actually grant clarity to all other cryptos on the secondary market, and it would kill a lot of the SEC's arguments. Plus, like I said, the judge is very skeptical of the SEC. If the SEC does lose this case, they can indeed appeal, but the appellate success rate of these things is like 10% or something. And it would take several years. And while that's actually being appealed, this would be the law of the land. And there's a very good chance that during that time it's being appealed, Gary Gensler would actually get replaced. And whoever steps in might be more friendly to crypto and just drop the case altogether. So there is a big chance of that. We know that so everything is basically looking up for crypto. Yes, the economy isn't great, but realistically, it's not that bad. Labor market is slowing down a little bit. The people are still spending. Forecasts and analysts are thinking maybe a very mild recession to start off next year. But overall, like the economy is not going to play like a huge player. I think whether crypto drops or rises. Interest rates, sure, but they are going to come down second half of next year. So next year is looking very good for the crypto verse. So that's the news for today. Let me know what you think. Like and subscribe. Hit that bell notifications button. Thank you and have a nice day.